into voice acting.
Well, for those who don't know, hi, my name's Rachel Chow. Pronouns are she, they. I voice Stelle, your femme MC or Trailblazer or protagonist, whatever you want to say, in Honkai Star Rail. Um, Born to New York City parents, raised in New Jersey, lived in New York ever since college, went to NYU, studied acting in high school and college, and I actually got my first voice acting gig as a high schooler, which was really fun. A weird twist. I think that's a later question, so I'll try to keep it to that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of TikToks that I made about getting started in voiceover, what my journey was, and advice for any people. So if you want the long version, head over there. But the short version is that my sister started watching some anime when she was probably early high school, and I'm the younger sibling, so that was like middle school for me. And I just wanted to do everything she did. So we started watching those together, and I got really interested in that as a career. I don't think I understood acting as a career, but voice acting I did. And then it ended up being the first professional job that I ever did as a senior in high school. So yeah, it's just grown from there.
Thanks for the insights. Then I guess moving on to the next question. What would you say was your first ever voice acting job?
So it was that job. It was for Sonia in a game called The 10th Line, which you can find, I believe, on Steam and Switch, which there's an anniversary edition available, which is so fun. And yeah, it was really cool. It was really a short job, just a page, like a character sheet, and some combat like catchphrases and stuff, because it's an old school RPG sort of game. So it was pretty simple. It was self-directed. I did it in my mom slash sister's closet at my family home. And yeah, it was a very, very interesting first experience, very different from what I do now in some ways, and in other ways not. But I think the silliest part is that my character was an archer. So for like attack sounds, I did not know what to do, and it just kind of ended up being like deep breathing, which is what you do in archery. It doesn't make for the most exciting gameplay though, I imagine. A great game. I haven't played it yet, but great game, I assume. Great music. But yeah, just kind of weird in that regard.
Right, and then can you tell us like what your reaction was when you got the role of Trailblazer?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I didn't know what it was. I really didn't. I'm not super plugged into the games world, even though I very much love this game and this role. I auditioned in, I think, May of 2021, and I found out that I got cast, like, I would say a month or so later. And I didn't start recording until February of 2022, and I didn't find out what the game was until November, I think, of 2022. My friends kind of helped me figure it out. I was like, they know games, right? I'll just ask them. And I was like, guys, this is all the information I have. Like, this is the company. I don't really know what this is. And they thought I was in Genshin, but we did some digging and I was like, no, I don't recognize those character names. So then we went on and clicked around a little bit and I started recognizing the names in Honkai. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in this game. And it was a very, very exciting day. And I had gone through a lot of difficult things starting in the year of 2022. So getting that, I had a strong feeling that summer that like something really good was going to happen by the end of the year. And little did I know the thing had already happened. I just didn't realize what it was until later in the year.
Right, and then can you tell us what did they tell you like how Trailblazer's voice should sound like?
There wasn't a direct reference or anything. We've joked in like recent sessions that Stell's Trailblazer voice is inspired by Steven Seagal. That's not true. But I think that they really wanted a grounded read, which is funny. I think it's really trending in anime and in video games to have, more natural reads, even though we go through some crazy things, and that's not always like, a super realistic, lifelike thing that we want to sound like. Um, but yeah, natural, not too far from my own voice, I would say, just obviously more heightened because I'm not doing all the crazy things that they're doing on the regular. And something that my directors have said time and again is that they wanted Stell to sound just as strong as Kalis. And I think that's really wonderful. I think they bring really different flavors to it. From what I've heard, Caleb's is more. I always just say Caleb. It's Caleb and Kalis. It's too close for me to say anything different. But for Caleb's Kalis, I think it's a bit more of an aggro approach, at least in the original version of Trailblazer. And mine's maybe a little bit more of a cool cucumber in some ways. So yeah, it kind of just depends on the situation though, because it can really pull us in different directions. Like the most recent recording session I did, which was last week, which I can't say much about, was really wild and it definitely brought us to places we have not been before.
Right, and then to add on to that, what would you say is your favorite voice line?
So my not so dirty, not so secret is that I still haven't caught up to the game. I'm still in Bellabog. I've barely done anything. So I don't know a ton of the lines, but I always love the classic rules are made to be broken, made, meant, one of the two, an M word. Um, and Flaming Lance. They're just fun and powerful and classic. And it really makes me feel like I am in a video game, you know?
Yeah. And then what would you usually do to get into character before recording the voice lines?
I feel like I'm in the same camp as a lot of other voice actors where we definitely don't do as much as we should before recording. I started doing more warm-ups, which is good. I need to expand on that and do a little warm down after because it's very important for the voice. Um, but I don't do a whole lot. What's wonderful about video game, I mean, pretty much any session where you're doing a voice, is that they'll play reference for you. So you'll get, you know, a few of the past lines that you've recorded to kind of get you in the zone of the character, especially if it's really different from your voice. And, you know, for consistency as well, it helps you get in the ballpark of what you want to sound like. So yeah, I don't do a whole lot, but you definitely have to bring yourself to an imaginative place because if you're like me and you're recording remote, you're in your closet and there's not like a whole sprawling world around you. So you just gotta get the creative juices flowing and not be afraid to be a fool. So come in open and hopefully a little warmed up in the voice.
Right, and then what would you say your impression of Honkai Star Rail was? Your first impression?
My first impression, I thought it was so cool. I grew up watching my sister play like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and it felt like that, but also like, you know, kind of steampunky. There's so many different characters. And I I love Trailblazer because, as I like to say, they're literally born yesterday. So you never know what they're gonna do or say. And yeah, the game as a whole is just so fantastical and fun, and we've explored, you know, a small handful of worlds so far. But I'm just really excited to see where it goes, and I've always loved like the design of the game.
And then what would you say your first impression of Trailblazer was?
I honestly, I'm like, wow, that's a short skirt. I like to be able as a person to move around and like kick ass in New York City if need be and throw hands. But Stell's still able to do that with her short skirt. I mean, hey, full range of movement, hopefully. But yeah, I love the colors of the outfit and I think she looks cool and a little dumb at the same time, and I love that.